Hi everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating. I hope that you have had a joy-filled holiday time with loved ones. So I am coming on today to talk about a surprising reason you might still be single. So I'm going to be breaking down how a client from the High Value Woman Mastermind got engaged and what she had to work on to get there that might be relevant to quite a few of you. So we can look at what might be blocking you from getting your happily ever after. So, this gorgeous, intelligent, successful client came to me with one of the most common patterns I see that blocks women from finding and keeping high quality love. And so, I'm going to break down kind of the process and the things that happened to be able to get to engagement. So, this client is very successful. She is a badass in her life, and she joined the High Value Woman a few months into a relationship with a man. And she was aware that she had some self-sabotaging tendencies, and she also knew that he was a good guy. But she was constantly in her head, finding problems with him, having issues with things about him and how he was. She was overanalyzing, making her doubt if he was the right guy for her. And it was really exhausting. She didn't want to sabotage, but she was feeling like she needed more and more distance from him, not wanting to get too close, have him too much in her space, messing up how she liked things. And she didn't want to make the wrong decision again with somebody and waste more time on someone. She wanted to be able to get to marriage and starting a family and not be freaked out about doing that and who she was doing that with. So in her past, she had a history of being attracted to unavailable men, avoidant men, low quality men, toxic men, and justifying their behaviors. Whereas good, available men, she didn't tend to be attracted to. In fact, she wasn't attracted to them. They were not in her history. Now, this is a common issue that I work with a lot of women. And many clients who come to work with me are not as aware as she was about what their blocks are, what the issue is. They don't know that they aren't attracted to available, secure men because of inner issues. Usually it shows up as women saying, I just can't find anyone I like who wants me back. All the guys who want me, I'm not attracted to. And let me know if that rings a bell for you if you have said something like that. So you should know that that was me also. I have said something like that in my past. That was my story. And, back then I was trying to figure out why I was still single and why dating and relationships weren't working out for me. And the reality is that I never liked the guys who really liked me, who pursued me sincerely, who showed clear intentions and very early special interest in me, who had wonderful qualities. Those were the guys who literally had me running for the hills, wanting to keep distance between them. But give me a slightly ambiguous guy, someone who it really wasn't clear what he wanted from me, but who was a lot of fun and I could flirt with. And, I felt slightly on edge with. I felt like I had to chase or impress him, who, in truth, looking back, like I actually felt insecure with those men. I'd be head over heels for them. I'd have this crazy chemistry, attraction, obsession with those men. And I also had my reasons for dumping the other guys, like I just wasn't feeling it, that X factor was missing, and unfortunately, there was nobody there back then calling me out or telling me he wasn't the problem. So the thing about this pattern is that it appears pretty rational from the outside to somebody who doesn't really understand how these inner dynamics work. So we can think, and people might agree with us, that we're just having standards, that we just don't feel it, that we just don't like him, we're just not attracted to him, and that we will feel it with the right guy. But here's the truth, my loves. What's behind this pattern of wanting the guys we can't have and not wanting the guys who we can is actually a fear of letting that person get too close and an attraction to what is unavailable. It's actually a manifestation that comes from an insecure attachment style. It could be avoidant, it could be fearful avoidant, it could be anxious attachment. So with this client, when we dug into what was going on internally related to this guy, we found that she was pretty fearful avoidant. And the avoidant part was what was coming out so strongly in this relationship because he actually was available. And that this was because of her love blueprint, which is where our insecure attachment styles come from. So her subconscious map for what she identified as love, the beliefs that she had around love, she was not wired for secure, available love. She was wired for unavailable, chaotic, toxic love. So deep down, unavailability, instability, toxicity, chaos, those were the things that were normal for her nervous system. So while a guy who presented with consistency, kindness, and availability, that guy is actually going to be repellent for you, was for her, was for me, when we have a love blueprint that is an insecure attachment style type. So because that's too foreign, availability, secure attachment, that is actually too foreign for us. And it's too scary for us. We've got a lot of stuff in there wanting to like protect us. And so this caused her to choose less than ideal men and reject the good ones. And she would not have probably in the past have been able to say that that's what was going on. And I wouldn't have either. So when you have this, you have an inner child who doesn't feel safe to let someone so close, and it doesn't trust you to make good decisions. And beneath that, for this client, she actually didn't feel worthy of available high quality love. She'd project how she felt about herself actually onto these good men. But if we just gone with what she presented with on the surface, where she was questioning things and had found problems with him or thought she had, and, didn't want him to come too close and swung in and out of like, come near me, don't be near me, it would have been a lot easier for her to just say, well, then I should just end things. Clearly, this isn't the right relationship. This isn't the right person. And if you were to try to get your advice online, general dating and relationship advice would have told her to do that because we hear things like on the internet, when it's just generalized, you'll hear things like, well, if you're not 100% sure, then he's not the one. Or if you ask yourself, would I be happy with him if nothing changed? And you say no, then he's not the one. Or if you ask yourself, am I at peace and not second guessing? If you say no, then he's not the one. But this advice does not work for somebody who has an insecure attachment style. And you will not always feel at peace and attracted in that case, or maybe ever. But, we go in and out of these feelings, right? You're going to probably be nitpicking. You're going to be in your head. You're going to feel that you cannot accept him as he is without him changing. These are hallmarks of fearful avoidant attachment. You will not feel 100% sure about the relationship. You may actually push him away at times, and that will actually feel good at times. And then suddenly you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Because closeness, intimacy, letting someone in is actually terrifying. That's the deeper truth. We don't know how to do it. It's not what we're wired for. And so we can't really go based on the feelings, quote unquote. And this is why we actually need personalized guidance in dating, in relationships, and we're trying to decide, do I stay or do I go? Is this the right person? Is this not the right person? To help differentiate between what's just fears, just your avoidance and fear of getting too close, and real issues, real non-negotiables, real incompatibility. So you don't sabotage a really great relationship or what could have been a really great relationship. You could be done with dating forever, or you could eject yourself back out into the dating market and continue rinse and repeat for another 3 years. And so that's what I help you with in the High Value Woman Mastermind. You will get that reality check. You'll get to know your triggers and your patterns and what your love blueprint is attracted towards. And you'll be doing that deeper inner healing work so we can identify where your patterns are coming from and start to heal and rewire the parts of you that actually sabotage available love and find it scary and unattractive. Because if you don't address this, you will just experience the same cycle with the next guy. And the pattern for this type is either going for the unavailable guy or pushing away, not being attracted to the available one. And so this is really a rinse and repeat scenario. And you do need help differentiating between true accepting less than you should and what is actually not settling, but you're feeling like it is. And that's why it's so important to have somebody who actually understands this, has gone through this herself to get married, because it takes a lot to get to that place when you have patterns like this. So you will not be, able to fool that person. You can't fool me because I have literally been through it myself. I understand the thinking patterns and the behavior patterns that go with it. And I have guided so many clients, this one included, to break that pattern, and to actually help you have an accurate assessment of what you need and what you don't, and what is a real problem and what's not. So if you lean towards insecure attachment, you probably have an unrealistic, or unimportant standards of perfection, because of course nobody is perfect. And in reality, you aren't attracted to what is good for you, to what is healthy. That is too foreign for you, because that's not what love was like in childhood. It doesn't match the belief systems that you have. And so we have to rewire that stuff. So when we start doubting if a good man is good enough for us, finding issues with all these things about him, he actually senses our closed offness, our judgment. And you know what happens when we're talking about early in dating is that this man shuts down. So you get a less good version of him to begin with. You actually don't see all of him and who he is. You can't even really get to know the real him. You're not seeing him to begin with. And now he's gone into self-protection too. Like he can feel that. And so you might just think, oh, he's not that talkative, or he's not that forthcoming, or, he's boring. And actually, your judgments and the way that you are closed off towards him is just being reflected back at you. He's shutting down. And second, all of that's going to blind you to the real person and all the things that he has to bring to the table and to a relationship. So often what we think we need isn't what we actually need. And other people might enable this behavior, telling you, you go, girl, you deserve the best, never settle. And what that's doing is that's actually keeping you single. There's a difference between true settling and true incompatibility, and accepting that everybody has imperfections. There is no perfect man out there, but this is a really good man for you. So you might not realize you have intimacy issues because you do fall madly for some men and you can't get close enough to those men. But if you look, you'll see they're all the unavailable ones. And deep down, you know that they are. And it's actually safe to pine for him because you'll never get that kind of closeness from him. He doesn't want it. He would run. And then the available man, you find him too needy, too emotional, maybe even you've used the word too feminine, not masculine enough, not strong enough. I can't trust him. But actually, it's because you are not available and you have walls and guards up, and you won't let someone come close enough to you, just like those unavailable men won't. So you're afraid of the vulnerability of actually letting someone in. So a lot of women glamorize avoidant attachment as masculine. When they say, I want a masculine man, they're actually talking about an avoidant man, the hyper independent, slightly mysterious, strong and in charge, doesn't need anything, never shows any kind of weakness man. That's not healthy masculinity. That's a man who has deep wounds and hides his vulnerability. And he's not a man who's going to give you anything emotionally, and he's not going to ask for anything emotionally because he's afraid of emotional intimacy. He's afraid of being seen. But he'll use your body for pleasure, primarily for his pleasure and his ego, without getting emotionally close. And when you do have needs, when you start asking for things, then he runs for the hills. So do you see how that man is actually just your mirror? Because you're doing the same thing with available men. So what this client wanted was to actually feel really excited about the future with this man, to not constantly want to push him away, to not be stuck in her head overthinking things and in anxiety, and to be able to differentiate between real problems and just her thoughts running crazy, and to not sabotage herself with this man if he was the right one. And so we worked on removing her blocks to love. And this requires, when we're removing these kinds of blocks, we have to uncover and rewire the love blueprint that we carry that has created that insecure attachment style and attraction to the wrong thing. So our incorrect beliefs about love that are in our love blueprint, coming from what we picked up on in childhood, healing our inner child, raising self-worth, developing a relationship with our own emotions, with our own needs, and building an intimate relationship with ourselves first. This client had no idea she even had relationship needs. She did not know how to ask for them. She was terrified to ask for anything. Learning to accept yourself and therefore being able to accept him. This is a whole journey and a process we have to do with our relationship with ourselves, creating safety around vulnerability, and building self-trust and a deeper relationship with yourself. So, what happens as a result of this work is that you'll start to find avoidance and unavailability actually unattractive. It will stop lighting up your love blueprint. It will stop being attractive to you. You will create a new set point for what you will and will not tolerate in terms of emotional intimacy and closeness and availability. And as you become more emotionally intimate with yourself and practice doing that with others, in the mastermind, we actually have a cohort of other women. You're going to get a mastermind sister. It would be a very safe place to be able to start to explore that. You raise the bar for the level of intimacy you are able to have, therefore, two emotionally available men while repelling the avoidant and unavailable ones. And you want to do that. And then you stop finding somebody's unavailability and avoidance attractive anymore. That starts to be an automatic repellent, not going there kind of thing. You'll be attracted to a different type of men, the available, quality, good men. And you'll start to be able to sense that difference between the two things really quickly. You'll open your heart to a good man. And this is going to, of course, save you years wasted on the wrong men, heartbreak after heartbreak, trying to heal and get over. Every time that happens, you add another 6 months to the process of moving on, right? So you want to actually heal and rewire yourself so you can end that cycle. So that is what we did. That is the work I did with her. So I want to share with you, if you are interested in taking this work deeper and experiencing this change for yourself, if that's what you desire, the High Value Woman, the same program that this client was in, the same program that I'm leading all these women through, who are definitely, a lot of them dealing with these kinds of things, is enrolling. And there are 6 days left to join this round. So this is a very intimate, small container with just a few women who are hand selected, and you're here working with me for 5 months. So you get personally coached, we have hot seat coaching, and we are really going to be diving into your love blueprint, your beliefs, and the things that are holding you back and blocking you from being able to have that kind of quality love that you want and deserve. So the stories that you've written, the beliefs you have, the unhealed stuff and wounds, your inner child, we excavate that and I guide you through my signature process to heal it, rewire it, and upgrade it for healthy, available love. So this is what I struggled with the most. I didn't believe I was good enough. I was not at all attracted to available men. I kept falling for men who didn't choose me. And this process that I take you through, I did for myself first, and for the last 5 years, I have been taking clients through it. It is amazing. It works. So you will uncover your love blueprint, shift it so you stop wanting and attracting the wrong men and relationships. You start being available for and recognizing how to attract and where it is and who has it, the kind of quality relationship that you really want with your person, the man that you can see your future with, and he sees it too with you. So during the 5 months together, there are 3 coaching calls a month held on Zoom. So you can do this anywhere in the world. We are starting in January. So with hot seat coaching, individual coaching on those calls, if you want it, getting your questions answered, being able to watch other women as well. You're going to learn so much from other women's journeys and the work that they're doing on these calls. There is a private Facebook group where you get supported throughout the week outside of our calls. I am personally in there answering your in-the-moment questions as you go through the week outside of the calls. You're encountering different situations, different things are coming up for you. You post in that group. You basically have me in your back pocket to support you through really the very important interactions and first dates with these people, so you don't self-sabotage. Because if you've got this pattern, you're very likely to self-sabotage early on, and we're going to catch that and stop it. You get a one-on-one call with me that's included for everybody who joins, a 60-minute call. We're going to deep dive into your specific blocks, specific areas that you need to get shifted. And you'll get that on the call. We'll do that deep inner work. There's also a platinum level with 5 one-on-one calls if you want that. So then you would get one-on-one call a month. All right. And then, so just our live group coaching calls, just that by itself, one-on-one call, that would be amazing, but there's actually more. It is also a curriculum. And so you are also going to get access to a library, a video library, resource library of 8 different modules that is designed to take you step by step by step through the entire process of preparing for healing, clarifying what you're looking for, understanding the process of how to date your feminine energy, understanding men, communication, getting to commitment, all of it. It's all laid out step by step in the online curriculum, including the whole process for uncovering and rewiring your love blueprint. So that's included, and you get to go through that as we're doing our calls, and you get to take things to the calls that you're working on in places where you're getting stuck. So you get my process for healing past wounds, uncovering what's in your love blueprint, my signature step-by-step process for uncovering and rewiring your old beliefs and your inner child, step-by-step process for handling, moving through, and actually de-triggering your triggers, my signature process for getting clarity on what you actually want and need from a partner, so that you can more easily and quickly recognize who is the right person for you. Most of my clients tell me, like, I can't believe it, but everything that I put on this list, I've actually found that in my man. Then I teach you how to embody your feminine energy and what does that mean in a dating context with men in terms of how you show up, communication, who does what. And then I teach you how to date in a way that gets you your ideal match as quickly as possible. I call that the dating for commitment or dating for marriage process. It takes a lot of confusion out of what to look for and what to expect, and how to handle that early dating, and what pitfalls to avoid. This will save you so much time when you have this level of clarity and you've done this level of inner work. It's unbelievable. We dive into using the dating apps if you're going to be doing that, how to use them effectively. Most women's profiles are really not set up to attract the kind of men that they are looking for and want to be attracting. So you'll learn how to set up your profile. I teach you how to navigate communication on the apps. What do you do with all these different men? How do you handle the situations where they keep messaging and they're not asking you out? How do you get onto dates? That whole thing. And then we dig into being the woman who has the love that you want, being a match for that. We dig into masculine and feminine energy. You're getting practices for embodying your feminine energy. What does it actually look like practically in the dating process? How do you communicate with men effectively, both on the dating apps, via text, and also in person? And of course, you're going to be attracting a lot of men at this point. So you need to understand men and how they approach love and commitment. So I teach you how men commit, why they commit, when they commit, signs that he's ready for commitment, signs that he wants to commit to you specifically. So you're never confused about what's going on with the men that you are dating. And you also understand how they're operating, what can make a man fall harder and what can accidentally push a man away. So just imagine having that level of inner work, solidity in yourself, being able to handle your triggers, your anxiety, and all of the things that can come up in dating, the negative beliefs that can sabotage you, and then having a real clear map for getting from A to B into that committed relationship. And you know that you're with a guy that you're actually going to marry. Imagine what that would be like, because that can be you. So I love this program. It works. It's effective. It gives my clients amazing transformations and results. It gets my clients who are really ready to work the system and follow it into dream relationships. I've had so many engagements announced from previous clients this year who are in this program. So if you're really serious about finding your person and ready and willing to put in the work and to follow a process that works to get there, this is the only dating program that you need. You do not need more therapy for dating when you have this program. It has everything in it. It's a complete package, and you'll get amazing results. So I would love to see you inside. Right now, there is an early bird price with $500 off the full price that is going to be going away without warning before doors close. So if you know that you want to get in, apply now, submit that application. And if you're like, I really want to take this deeper, I know I need to work with Elizabeth, don't sit on the fence. 2025, that gets to be your year that you really get this figured out and change your patterns with men. So what you'll do is you'll submit an application, and if it looks like a fit, I will offer you a spot. You'll have an opportunity to get on a consult call if you want, where we can discuss or answer any questions that you have, and we can get you enrolled. So the link to join is in my bio on Instagram. You can also send me a DM if you'd like it. And if you're on YouTube, you can find it underneath this video. All the details, if you have any questions about how this works, all of those details are on the website. It is very, very, very thorough. So go take a look there. And if you have questions that are not answered there, of course, send me a DM and I am happy to answer them. So link is in my bio for that. And I will see you next time. Bye.